Yet another Eagle skill with multiple coins has been released in Limbus company. You've probably seen many videos showcasing the funniest numbers this skill can reach, so let's cut to the chase. Today we're talking about Solemn Lament Gregor. To get started, let's take a look at the skill itself and figure out why people seem to love it so much. Gregor's Solemn Lament is a Gloom Eagle skill with 3 coins. It has 8 base power and just 2 coin power at uptime 4. This skill has the unique ability to change its target after every coin, meaning that you get all the attack weight with none of the benefits. Solemn Lament also allows Gregor to heal off a tiny bit of his SP with its abilities, and every coin inflicts a little bit of butterfly. Doesn't sound too hot, does it? Well, you probably know the catch already. The third coin of the skill can be reused up to 5 times, increasing the total coin count of the skill from 3 to 8. This propels almost all aspects of this eagle into the stratosphere. The damage is increased, the amount of butterfly that it inflicts goes up threefold, and the SP healing is greater as well. After hearing all that, you might instantly think that this makes Gregor's Solemn Lament the best eagle in the game. And, in fact, the general consensus around it is that it's overpowered. But in today's video I want to look at the skill closely and answer one question. How strong is Solemn Lament actually? But before we start the video, I have to remind you all once again to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying the content. We're getting closer to 2000 subs every day, and still around 93% of my viewers aren't subscribed. Subscribing helps me out a ton, and lets you know when my new videos are out, so you never miss my new uploads. I'm done chilling for today, so let's go back to Gregor. Let's start by examining Solemn Lament's reroll mechanics. This might seem similar to Wingbit, but the actual requirements for all 8 coins to be used are much lower. Whenever the third coin lands, Gregor loses 2 to 6 SP. After that, if he's above 0 SP, the coin gets reused again, up to 5 times total. This means that you can hit all tails and still get the value of landing all 8 hits. With a starting cost of 25 SP, as long as you were at max SP when using the skill, you should be hitting 6 to 8 coins every use, as you effectively have 20 SP to spend on 5 rerolls. This is further supported by Butterfly, as if you manage to inflict a stack of the living, which starts at 30% and increases when you lose SP, you get to give Gregor up to 8 more SP to play with, which usually will allow him to hit all 8 coins consistently. However, we're only looking at the ability to use coins, but if you want to utilize Solemn Lament for its damage, we have to turn to SP support. And now that we're on SP support, I want to address something right away. For this video, I will not be considering Ring Sound support as an option. That is because in a sinking team, which is where this eagle as well as Gregor himself is best used, you should be running Solemn Lament Yisang. His SP recovery is weaker than Ring Yisang's, but you see Solemn Lament in 100% of sinking teams today, and turning him into a benched SP support is out of the picture. With that established, let's take a look at our options. We have Butler Force support and the Butterfly effect. This isn't a lot, but it will have to do. Starting with Forced, her support passive allows Gregor to heal 3 SP on hit up to 4 times, as long as the enemy has 5 or more sinking. The condition of this passive is really easy to meet for this eagle, but the effect is a bit lacking. When how much SP is lost when using Solemn Lament, healing a total of 12 SP over 4 hits is not enough to hold back the rapid descent into madness. This is where Butterfly comes in. Ideally you want it to be fully inflicted by a Solemn Lament Yisang, but the eagle skill itself can also help with 2 procs before the rerolls start. Butterfly heals SP equal to the living, which is its potency, divided by 4. The value is rounded down, and the living is kept at 15, so sadly the healing caps out at 3 per hit. Still, that's enough to double the healing for 4 hits when used alongside Forced, and Butterfly keeps healing even after that, giving Gregor up to 24 more SP. I could give you the full probabilities for a perfect Solemn Lament, but the beauty of the skill lies in the fact that it doesn't need to hit all heads, unlike Wingbit. This is where we transition into talking about Solemn Lament's damage. If you hit all heads, you're looking at 136 damage. This is less than you might have expected. But to truly understand the damaging capabilities of Solemn Lament, we need to first look at 2 things. The identity it's best used on and the butterfly effect that it's tied to. First of all, the identity it's tied to is Edgar family heir Gregor. He is the only sinking Gregor ID, but he's not here just because he fits the team. Heir Gregor's passive, Endless Nightmares, allows him to gain damage up and fragile for every 5 speed difference between combat start and the last turn start. You also get free damage from sinking, but it's less of a Solemn Lament buff and more of a sinking team buff. This passive turns the approach to Solemn Lament on its head. This is because you can actually get better results by not using SP support at all. If you allow Solemn Lament to drop Gregor's SP to 18 after attack, Gregor will gain 5 damage up if he can return to 45 SP on the next turn. This kind of healing is perfectly doable when using Faust on the team, instead of as a support. One Fluid Sac heals up to 25 SP, and isn't that difficult for a team with Gregor to use. If you don't have a Threat Spin for Fluid Sac, fear not, as Edgar heir Gregor has a Clash power conditional on every skill, which allows him to win clashes even when he's at low SP, as long as the enemy has enough sinking. Between a Fluid Sac and the Won Clash, you're almost certain to go back to 45 SP before the start of the next turn. But getting 5 damage up isn't enough, is it? By using a well-timed third skill, Edgar heir Gregor can apply a further 3 damage up on himself, alongside a crucial coin power boost next turn. With both abilities activated, we only need to hit the first coin to already deal more damage than a perfect SP support Solemn Lament. However, that is still only part of Solemn Lament's damage. There is a reason why the skill inflicts Butterfly, and that is because it is the perfect vessel for such an effect. If the enemy is inflicted with a lot of the Departed, Solemn Lament can be used to proc the additional damage 8 times in one turn. This on its own is already up to 240 damage. Sinking works in the same way on abnormalities, which is why Solemn Lament seems to deal even more damage there. Still, this damage is a usual part of a sinking team boss encounter, so we will gloss over that and assume that for all the calculations in this video, the enemy is a solo human boss. Assuming that the effects of Endless Nightmares and Nightmare Hunt are active, the skill hits all heads and the enemy takes 30 damage from Butterfly on each hit, Solemn Lament Gregor can deal up to 550 damage against a neutral target. This damage is obviously increased if the target is staggered, and the amount of coins makes staggering mid-attack pretty easy, so you can get an even better result without hitting all heads. On top of all this, the Fragile that Gregor inflicts on himself with Endless Nightmares activates the passive of Lament, giving him one more attack power as long as he has that Fragile. The passive also increases his damage against human bosses even further, giving Gregor a 15% damage bonus against enemies in panic. Solemn Lament and Edgar family heir Gregor is a match made in heaven. However, no ego is without drawbacks, and it's finally time to talk about the bad parts of this skill. For the first issue, we have the elephant in the room, versatility. This ego is great at single target damage, but as I said at the start of the video, Solemn Lament gets attack weight with no benefit. Hitting every coin against a different opponent spreads out his damage and butterfly infliction, and also makes setting up a lot more difficult, as you need Sinking and the Departed to be inflicted on all targets in a high enough amount for Gregor to fully use them. This large problem makes Solemn Lament primarily a boss killing tool. However, sinking teams in general just suck at human fights. This means that even though the limitation makes Solemn Lament not become a one-size-fits-all solution to all encounters, it still works well within the niche of its preferred team. However, there is another issue Solemn Lament faces, and that issue is the cost of the required setup. Getting enough Butterfly relies mainly on Yi-san moving before Gregor with the skills 3 ready to go. But the effect on its own is not going to do anything, which is why you not only need to inflict enough sinking potency to reach the damage cap, but also enough count to let Gregor make use of the damage with every one of his coins. With Yi-san being required to go before Gregor, this task becomes even more difficult. Your best option is, as always, using Rhyme Shank. However, if you do, you will most likely not have enough envy for Fluid Sac, meaning you will have to choose between giving up on your Endless Nightmares usage and thus physical damage, or giving up on sinking count, which means ruining your team's potential damage from Butterfly. Much like Winbeat, Solemn Lament faces a lot of issues with its setup, which hold it back from dealing its full damage. Still, unlike Winbeat, even when you miss part of the setup or get unlucky with the coins, Solemn Lament will get a decent amount of value, and that's why it's a good ego skill. However, if anyone tells you that Gregor's Solemn Lament is busted, point them to this video. Even if there is a lot of potential, making the most out of this skill is difficult for multiple reasons. But even then, it's far from the war crime that is Winbeat, and it makes a funny noise when you use it, so Solemn Lament is definitely worth upgrading. And that's it for the funniest ego of 2024. If you found yourself enjoying the video at any point, leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this. If you have any suggestions on future videos, you can always leave a comment down below. This was Ultranum and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye!